everyone. I'm Robbie.
Yep. Tell me 2 sentences about yourself.
Sure. I'm originally from Ireland. I recently moved here to Australia, and yeah, I work as a massage therapist. I do some private work and corporate work back in Dublin, and here I'm just kind of setting up. I just see some clients privately, kind of explore different avenues of that, and yeah, I'd really like to hear in this country and see what happens.
Cool. Welcome, Robbie.
Thank you very much.
And you are
Sen?
Sen.
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Sen. I'm Ingrid. And tell me a little bit about yourself.
A couple of things, 2 things. One, I spend a lot of time in nature and trust a lot in what I pick up intuitively from that, and that's gone into my non-official understanding of massage, which must have put 1,000 hours plus into, just a practical hands-on doing massage, but haven't done any particular course yet.
Okay. Nice. Right. Are you looking forward to maybe joining a course sometime soon?
I'm thinking of doing a Cert 4 just to complement it and make it official.
And what's your name?
Hi, I'm Dan, or usually people call me Dan the Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it, Dan the Man.
That's it. I studied with Masters Zhang Hao in 2012. He's a master of Tai Chi and Qigong and massage. And so I took that, and I've been working as a massage therapist since then, but it's just been part-time or casual, and I've just had a big break. And so this was a lovely opportunity for me to get back into it. I call it trigger point, it's probably not technically trigger point, and I also do suction cupping. So I've actually experienced a lot of people and held space for a lot of people having emotional release while doing that work.
Well, that's great. Welcome. And you are?
Luke. I'm a remedial massage therapist, currently working in corporate, doing chair massage, mobile, sports, and possibly going to get more into aged care. I had an emotional release purely by chance of recent, and it was pretty full on. As kind of stuff came up. Don't really know why, but I was talking to David, maybe it's because I was in a fairly relaxed, safe space. And I'm probably quite scared to do that to clients because I don't know what I'm doing. But I imagine it could be a powerful thing, but I don't know much about the emotional side.
Oh, thank you. And you are?
I'm David. I work in a chiropractic clinic as a remedial massage therapist. So I do a lot of remedial work, do a lot of dry needling. When I'm not doing that, I do visit some geriatrics in their homes that can't get out and about. So a bit of a mixture of different clientele, but sort of thing I really enjoy doing.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And you are?
Gustav, and I'm in the area like 3 years, and so mostly I do like corporate massages, but sometimes I do also mobile massages, visiting clients at home. Mostly like Swedish massage, but also some deep tissue techniques.
And you are?
I'm Steve. I specialise in Kahuna and Lomi Lomi type massage, and a lot of that, I guess, training, even if it's not official training, is all about emotional release and all that. So that's great.
Thank you for sharing. And you are?
I'm Sarah. I'm from the UK, and I started off as a beauty therapist, plus obviously doing massage within that. Come over, or studied reflexology before I come over from the UK to Australia. And whilst having my 2 girls, that was when I started getting back into massage and reflexology, so I could obviously bring them up, plus do massage and reflexology through corporate, at home, going to people's houses and that sort of thing. So.
That's right. It's great how flexible our work is. Yes, it's great for moms.
Yes.
And what about yourself?
Hi, I'm Edward. I've been as a remedial massage therapist for 4 years, and recently I've just started a new course at uni, so it's not massage related. So recently I haven't done much of massage work at all. Been doing finals question. But it's really glad to be here tonight.
What are you studying?
Engineering.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very different.
Yeah, very different.
Yes. So you get to tap into the different side of the brain.
Yes, yes. And I also heard lots of interesting things like how the word tension comes from. Like, you know, it kind of like sounds like tendon, but they actually work in the same way in a way.
The physics can be similar, like
Yes.
yeah, like the pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just different structure, but like same.
In engineering.
Yeah.
Cool.
Same mechanism stuff. Yeah.
Cool. And what about yourself?
Hi, I'm Thanamet. My nickname is Pet. I work as a massage therapist more than 12 years. But actually my degree in Thailand, about bachelor degree in marketing and master in management. But after I moved in here, I study diploma of remedial massage. Okay, thank you.
And what about yourself?
Yes, my name is Umara. I have a kind of quite experience in massage, and I start massage exactly in this point when I do massage. People start feel emotionally affected with the touch, and then I start to study more deep about exactly in the body, have a relationship about emotional thing. And I felt very, very good to be here to learn more about it, how Australians and people organize this kind of thing or treat. I felt very interesting, you know, Bliss, or I don't know who managed that to organize a meeting, because I believe what the more people need massage is massage therapists. You know what I mean? I believe, you know what I mean? We need to work ourselves to be in balance, to exactly attract people, because we stay connected with us in a certain way about emotionally, mainly emotionally. You know, because the body talk about what? Massage talk about what? Stress talk about what? Emotion. You know, and then I felt so happy to be here. Yes.
Wonderful. Which country you're from or work?
Yes, I'm from Brazil, but I'm living here now. Yes. Like everybody, I want to expand my business. I develop my own technique. The ideas exactly work in a holistic approach, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual thing at the same time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And what about yourself, boss?
Oh, I'm a stock standard remedial massage therapist and the assistant cleaner to Firmenfold Sydney. That's me.
Okay, cool. And how many years have you been a therapist?
Since 2012 started. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. My turn. Okay. So my name is Ingrid. I came from Indonesia and I've been a therapist for 20 years now. I call myself a spa therapist because I'm not just a massage therapist. I can do everything. Probably like Sarah, I do beauty as well, but I specialize in stress and relaxation. And
she's fantastic, by the way.
You are too. And I've been a relationship coach for 10 years. So I specialize in helping three kind of people: highly stressed people, broken-hearted singles, and loving couples. And couples that are, you know, rather confused. Should I separate? Should I not? Or should I go back together? Yeah, loving and not so loving. Yeah, those are the three kind of people that I love most. So in this one, now how do I can do it. Oh, okay, cool. Yes. So Savannah asked me to organize this for you guys because it is an important side of the massage. I just need...
Tell me when and I'll flick the page.
Okay, cool. Yes, now.
And I'll be taking photos as well.
Okay. Multi-talented guy you are.
Assistant to the cleaner.
assistant to the cleaner.
The cleaner.
Yes. I thought I heard something I'm not so sure of. I didn't want to comment on anything, you know.
Assistant to the cleaner
Right, so people, please tell me the physical benefits of massage. Probably start with you, Zumara. One. Just give me one.
Okay, release the tension.
The release tension. Ped.
Improve blood circulation.
Improve circulation?
Yes, of course.
Nice. Edward.
Reduce pain.
Reduce pain. Nice. Sarah.
Relaxing.
Relaxing? Okay, cool. Steve. Physical benefit.
Physical benefit.
Yeah.
Still stretching. Stretch muscles.
Stretch muscle. Okay. Well, you seem to be quite keen to provide an answer. What about you,
I
sir?
was just going to say, like, complementing Steve's answer, flexibility. As he said,
Flexibility.
Increase flexibility.
Lovely.
Range of motion is what we
Yes.
say.
Yes, that's great answer. Let's flick to the next one. There you go. Reduce muscle tension, improve circulation, stimulation of the lymphatic system, increase joint mobility and flexibility, improve skin tone, improve recovery of soft tissue injuries. I'm sure some of you do help with injuries as well, and so on. All right, so there's a lot of physical benefits of massage. What about next one? Mental and emotional benefits of massage. This is why we are here. So, Gustav, can you give me one?
Relaxing.
Relax. Okay. David?
Helps insomnia.
Yeah. Helps sleep. And what do you think, Lou?
Maybe you can have a release emotionally.
Release emotionally. Awesome. What about you, Dan the man?
Well, I would sort of class stress relief in there as well.
Yeah. Stress relief. Cool. What about you, Sam? What do you think? One of the mental emotional benefits of massage?
Balancing the connection between body language and what's going on upstairs and emotionally.
Right. Improve connection between mind and body.
Yeah, allowing people to open up.
Yeah. Awesome answer. What about you, Robbie? Give me one.
Feeling more connected to yourself and others through touch.
Yes, that's right. Let's reveal some answers. There are a lot of answers, right? So, improve moods, improve sleep quality. Who said insomnia? Good stuff. Promotes overall well-being. Triggers the feeling of being loved. I love that one. Hang on a minute. Stay tuned. Triggers the feeling of being loved. Now, this involves the hormone of oxytocin, right? If you have a wife, if you have a child, that is, and when the mother, after the mother gave birth, I mean, the process of giving birth can be quite, what do you call it? You have a child. Hey?
Yeah, traumatizing.
Traumatizing.
Took the words right out of
Yeah, it's extremely painful, traumatizing, exhausting, all sorts of, it's a roller coaster, yeah? I remember when I gave birth to her, it was a 5... She put herself in the video. It was a 5 days process from the first contraction to the emergency cesarean. Otherwise we both died. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And then one of my friends, after we all went home and one of my friends visited, and she asked, Ingrid, how was the birth? How was the labor experience? And I said, wow, it's just this. And she was like, and so, do you think you will have another child? Without blinking. Absolutely. That's called oxytocin. The love hormone is just, as soon as you hold this baby, it just comes through you, you know? oxytocin. Better sex life. Well, who have heard of, especially men, I'm asking the male audience in this tribe, you know, who ever heard, you know, oh, I feel pressure to perform during sex and then I couldn't get it up? Have you heard of that? Yes. Stress? Oh, not you, Edward. You look elsewhere. Yes, by having a massage, it releases the stress. So there's no more pressure. There's better connection within the mind and the body, as Sam said. And so eventually they get better sex life. Getting rid of symptoms of disease or illness. For example, I treat clients with Parkinson's disease. It's amazing to see the difference between before and after. Even though it's a progressive illness, you can't heal it. But you know, when they're shaking uncontrollably, very stiff, once they finish with the massage, I said, "Oh, Ingrid, you know, this unbelievable." You know, so you help getting rid of the symptoms of the disease, make them feel looser and can function again. Helps alleviate depression and anxiety. Who has treated a client with depression and anxiety? Yeah. It helps that because massage actually produces the happy hormones. Who knows what the happy hormones are?
Oxytocin?
That's the love hormones, I call it. Dopamine. One more.
Serotonin?
Serotonin, very good. So massage actually releases endorphins, just the happy hormones, serotonin and dopamine. Exactly. It helps with anger management. Now, can you tell me why do we get angry? Stress, yeah. Frustration, yeah. But especially when we feel threatened. When we feel threatened of something that we love or ourselves may get attacked, we feel angry. The anger comes up, all right? So massage helps with that because we give some sort of space between the response of the anger response and the calmness or the peace. Give a pause to that so people don't get angry. Helps relieve grief. And it releases emotional trauma. Who said that earlier?
I've
You did?
experienced a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, just touching a little bit on mental illness. There are 5 types of mental illness. Edward, can you give me one?
Mental illness?
Yeah.
Dementia?
Dementia, very good.
Yeah.
Zumara, can you give me one?
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia, yes, very good. Ped, can you give me one?
Depression.
Depression, yes. So it's relating to the mood. Sarah, what do you think? Schizophrenia, yeah. Can you think of maybe another one?
Panic.
No? Okay, let's have a look. So, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, schizophrenia and psychotic disorders, dementia, and eating disorders. Okay. Anxiety disorders, say PTSD falls into that, OCD falls into that, mood disorders, depression falls into that, bipolar falls into that. Schizophrenia, I think most people will know what it is. They hear voices, you know. Dementia, forgetfulness, yeah. Alzheimer's disease fall into dementia. and some symptoms may be present in such conditions like Parkinson's disease as well. Eventually they can get dementia, and eating disorders like bulimia, anorexia, that is mental illness.
What about addictions?
Yeah.
What about addictions?
Addiction, good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that'll be mental.
Maybe habit problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this eating, yeah, in a different
Yeah. So eating, so that's compulsion. So that's more sort of anxiety. Yeah, because anxiety disorder. Sorry, could we go back?
Yeah.
Anxiety disorders, including compulsion. Yeah. So.
Maybe a symptom of mental health like addiction.
Yes.
I don't know if it's classified as a mental illness. I don't know.
Personally, I tend to bundle a bunch of those into the addiction, in that it's a distraction from whatever I'm feeling that I don't want to feel, and it can be through eating as a distraction, drugs, sex, just being numb in the mind from not sleeping. There's a list of it that connect with that.
So it's emotional.
Wonderful. Thank you. And now, what not to say to a client experiencing a mental health problem? Can I ask Gustav to read the first one? So everybody will read one. Let's take turn. Say it. The first one.
Everything is going to be okay.
Okay, because you don't know. You don't know if everything is going to be okay with that person. So don't say that. Choose another one. You know? Steve?
You need to get out more.
Like that. And David?
It's all in your mind.
It's all in your mind, yes. Luke?
There is nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, maybe from the outside there's nothing wrong with you, but how do you know? If you don't listen, if you don't ask questions, or if you don't observe, how do you know? Dan?
You don't look anxious or depressed.
It's amazing what depressed people can mask. They're the master of disguise. They can look super happy, especially bipolar people actually. They look super happy, but when they're alone at home, it can be something else. What about you, Sam?
You need to stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Oh. Don't say that. Robbie?
Things aren't that bad.
Things aren't that bad. Yeah. How do you know things aren't that bad? You don't experience what I experience. I feel my life is shit. Yeah? Sumara?
Things could be so much worse.
Yeah, things could be so much worse. And this is my favorite. Can you read it?
The last one.
The last one.
Just snap out of it and get over yourself.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Just snap out of it. Yep, don't say that. That's my favorite.
It
Next.
makes me think of like massaging a client who's like maybe carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So not saying I've spoken to them about mental health or maybe I've done a check, but so yeah, I mean it's not my realm to talk to them about diet or exercise. I probably can.
Yeah.
But I find that a very awkward thing of whether you're to say anything or not to say anything, and is that respectful and appropriate to, like if someone's coming to see you and they're saying, well, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And they've let themselves go physically.
Yeah.
Then,
Meaning obese.
then
or,
it could be
or
obese.
morbidly obese.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that's a realistic thing that's happening in their life that's not helping them. So it's like, how do you
approach that?
Yeah.
How do you approach that? If they are not saying anything at all, I would just leave it until they open up to you. Until they complain about something. Oh, you know, I'm so breathless, or nobody are attracted to me because I'm too fat. Then you can say something like, what? Okay, so this is your concern, that you are overweight. What is the one thing? What is the one thing that you can do to improve your health? So just one. So instead of telling them what to do, I mean, in my opinion, we can suggest, right? We can suggest for them to do something, but don't bombard them with too many things. Like, oh yeah, because you are so overweight, you can join a gym, do yoga class, call a dietitian, what else? You name it, like 10 things. They get overwhelmed straight away. They will do absolutely nothing. So just ask them in an open-ended question, what is the one thing that realistic that you can do to improve your health? That is non-threatening.
That's a good one.
Yes. So give the power back to them. And the brain typically only can contain up to 3 actions, 3 action plan that we want to do before we get overwhelmed, because our brain tend to keep us safe. That's the primal function of a brain, keep us safe. So if we want to adopt a new habit, not just one, we want to adopt 10 new habits, we don't tend to do them all. We may take up to 3 new ones, because that's all the brain can handle for the moment. Until it gets used to a particular neural pathway, just keep doing it. Then the new neural pathway is strong. Then okay, it's like second nature. It's done.
If you're a man, then you can only do one thing.
Yeah. Good point. So my point is, ask them or suggest them do one thing. Not like, oh, what about this stretch, this exercise, this something else, you know? Yeah.
Can I compliment what you talk?
Yeah.
In my office, usually I do some kind of anamnesis. So I ask a lot of questions, you know, because also I'm acupuncturist. So I need it depends, medical history, your family, or sometimes analyze the tongue or even the pulse or something. And then, you know what I mean, all the questions make the person aware. Because, for example, sometimes people, if the person have addiction of alcohol, you say, oh, he knows. If you're obese, you know what I mean, quite sure he going to massage because he want to feel more intense, this kind of thing, between the connection between the body and the emotional thing. And then, you know, like she said, step by step, but I like to ask questions. Sometimes people come to me and say, no one asked me this question before here in Australia. So I think it's interesting because, like, for example, sometimes each session with massage is a different experience. Is a different mood. And also the person's familiarized with you, and also you can also feedback how you feel about massage. And you, for example, did you see the benefits of massage? Quite wonderful, isn't it? So how's your circulation? You know what I mean? And it can open up for different things, even you don't know, because sometimes the association of things happen instantaneously, or you're just a massage therapist. Yeah, it's just complimentary.
Lovely, thank you. Now we touch on grief, because we may get clients that just lost their partner, their mom. How do you deal with that? So grief is not just through death, but also through separation. Yeah. It's a bit small, sorry. So we start with shock and denial. So when someone lost a relationship or somebody, or maybe, you know, lost their property through bankruptcy or something like that, they go into this grief cycle, shock and denial. Oh no, there's no way, I can't believe this is happening to me, right? And then they move on to pain and guilt. They feel, oh, it's so painful and I feel guilty for whatever reason. That must be because I did this or I did that, you know. And then they go to anger. And sometimes, have you ever experienced anyone coming to you angry? Yep. Can you share a little bit about that?
Oh, sorry, not in massage. I'll skip that, sorry.
Oh, okay. Right. Anyone else? Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
When I used to work at this massage shop.
Yeah.
So once I was having this client.
Yeah.
And she was late for like 10 minutes for her appointment. And the moment she walks in the door and she's like complaining to the receptionist saying like, oh, I can't even find a car parking here. And then it just, you know, they were all aware of like she's been, you know, like very angry or something. And then
angry to begin with.
Yeah. And the moment she's like walking the shop, like walking the treatment room, and I was like trying to have a short conversation with her, saying like, okay, what's the target for today?
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, can we just go through it quickly so I don't really have time, you know, for whatever. And I was like, okay, so just get down on the table, and then like not surprisingly, maybe after 10 or 20 minutes, she's like, I'm not finding anything out of your massage treatment, so can we just stop here? It's like, oh, what's the reason? Can we just talk some more? Like, what did I not doing okay?
Yes.
And she's like, no, I just want to stop there. You know, it's worthless. And she walked out, and everyone else was like, yeah, well, we can like foresee that's happening because that's how we feel the same way. She, you know, as soon as she walk in the shop, you can feel the vibe of her just like angry.
Yes.
Like she doesn't like the parking. She doesn't like the table set.
Yes.
You know, she doesn't like everything. So.
Yeah. Angry about everything.
Yeah,
Once
when
you're
like,
angry about one thing, you criticize everything.
Everything,
else.
literally everything. Like after the session, like the receptionist was trying to offer her like a candy or something, you know, just say, oh, that's for you. And she's like, no, no candy, no water, just stormed out. So that's my experience.
So that's a very good example. If someone get that client, how do you respond? Can someone give feedback to Edward's experience? If that client is your client, how do you handle it?
If I have that client, first thing I try and do is just to think about their breathing, just try and take their mind off what they're thinking about. Until they usually feel it in their shoulders anyway, feel it. But just trying to coach them out of that state. You might just coach them through some things, mention some things, yeah. Put the music up a little louder, something like just try and adjust that state because that's all you're doing in years, that one. You just got to try and coach them out of it. And ultimately it may not, if they're that wound up about it.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen, but I think they concentrate on their breathing. I found that's the best way to just try and get someone to wind down a bit. And the other thing, when they concentrate on breathing, I do that a lot now. Sometimes people just don't shut up.
Yeah.
And they want them to shut up. I say, look, I need you to concentrate on your breathing. It's my way of saying shut up, I don't let them know. But it works. I start thinking of their breathing.
That's right.
It's the Swiss Army knife for everything.
Swiss Army knife for everything I like.
Seriously, it does. I always do. People are a bit like just think about your breathing, you know, just breathe in, count to 10 out, and it just tends to float away a lot of times.
I agree. So there you go. That's a Swiss Army knife for you. Breathing, definitely connect with the body, because when someone is too much up here, we need to bring them down. We need to ground them, and one of the technique is through breathing. Yeah, it's amazing what breathing can do. I ask client to breathe a lot. Steve definitely excessively asks the client to breathe throughout his massage because that is the method. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. The next one, they can go to depression, feeling very low. Don't want to get out of the house, don't want to meet people. Yeah? Now, all these 4 stages, they can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Does not necessarily go all the way that way, but it can go diagonal, zigzag, whatever. It's depending on the person, okay? And then they have an upward turn, and sometimes they can go back to depression. Sometimes they go back to guilt. Sometimes they go back to anger. That's okay. You know, you need to let them enjoy. Well, it's not very enjoyable, but you know what I mean. Like enjoy the ride. They gotta go through. Sorry.
Experience.
Experience. Yeah. Experience the ride. It's their healing journey. We're just here as a massage therapist to support them. Okay, and then they can move on. And the last one, acceptance and hope. So the hope is the acceptance part. That is the end goal. If they can accept whatever happened to them that is out of their control, for example, then they can heal. That's when the healing happened. Now, the next one is states of mind. I would like to show you just a diagram, okay? Sorry, it's a bit small. So, learning to be in control of your mind instead of letting your mind be in control of you. Okay? So, there's like MasterCard logo, all right? With the right-hand side is the emotional mind, okay? So, when someone is in their emotional mind, typically they get angry, they get upset, they cry all the time. And then the other opposite is the reasonable mind. This is, I'm just using a typical example, maybe. Like lawyers, they're very logical. They make good decisions. They think before they act, otherwise they will get sued, all right? So that's the reasonable mind. But when you are too logical, you become cold. You're not connected with your heart, not connected with your emotion. What our ideal target is the wise mind, the middle one. Okay, so the wise mind is saying intuition, paying attention, wisdom, and the wise mind is like having a heart, and everyone has one. Okay, so if we can balance our clients' perspective from the emotional mind, which is one extreme, the reasonable mind, which is the other extreme, to the wise mind, then it's a happy place for everyone. So, next one. Okay, case study. I mean, we have talked about a couple of case studies before, which is awesome. My case study, for example, one client just separated with his wife, right? So one time on the massage table, in the middle of a massage, he just burst out crying. He's like, we talked because he trusted me, and then he just burst out crying, just separated with his wife, you know. And he said, sorry, Ingrid, sorry. And I held his legs and I passed on the tissue and I said, you have nothing to be sorry about. You have nothing to be sorry about. You know, this is your space. It's a safe space. You know, you can express whatever that you want to express. You have nothing to be sorry about. I'm here for you. So that's what I said. And then eventually he can, manage his emotion and calm down, and we start the massage again. So that's one example. Do you have any other example that you experience with your own clients that, obviously that's emotional point? I mean, what about you? You deal with emotions all the time in your massage.
Just recently, I had a lady who, burst out crying, and she wanted to tell me afterwards what it was. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
And she saw her father in the room, and she was talking to him, and he passed away a year ago. He passed away just last year, and she's never had an experience like that before. So that was just a big emotional release for her, and at the end, it was just a wonderful experience. But there was no talking. She wasn't apologising. She was, although she probably was a little bit embarrassed, but by the end of it, she was fantastic. That's an example.
Amazing. Would you like to share your emotional release that you mentioned earlier?
I mean,
that all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think I must have felt safe in the space enough for that, and it wasn't premeditated, and I've been with that group for a period of time, so I must have felt safe and relaxed, and it was really gentle, the touch in the end, and it was, I felt they just did some light traction on my leg, and then I felt like it was like this energy rolled up my leg, and I was lying there and I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. And they did the other one, I had exactly the same, and then they physically held my head, and it was overwhelming. So I felt emotion came up, and I was crying, and then nearly to sobbing. It was in a clinic environment, so it was actually an assessment time. So the head lady was there, and I think she just started tapping me to get me back into my body, because it probably wasn't really the right time or the place to do that. Anyway, that's what she did. But yeah, I felt like I could have just totally kind of lost it emotionally, like it was like a massive release.
And how did you feel afterwards?
Well, that was the challenge, and that's why I'm scared of this stuff, because well, for me, it then left me in that state which is vulnerable, and stuff came up. So I then was left, I suppose the reality was I was left with no care afterwards. And I always find it extremely challenging to then have to go to work or be professional straight after a space like that. I still can't do that. So, and then I tried it on a client later, a regular client holding his head, and I held it for long enough, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't feel right doing that because I don't know what I'm doing. I wanted to practice it, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know enough about it to.
So I guess it was an unfortunate location and timing, perhaps for you. But it's great that you managed to experience.
I'd be happy about going away for a weekend or even a week if I could, where that's part of process, but it's a safe, nurturing
environment
while you're there. And you agree that to that.
Yes. It's a great experience that you managed to experience that. However, do not be disheartened to continue that journey on a different setting, obviously. Yes, different time. So even though at that moment you didn't feel cared for, so it's kind of like being cut off, suddenly, because it was like a clinical experience. Don't be afraid to go there again, because you will gain so much from it.
You don't have to tell us. You know what it is about. You don't have to tell us.
Yeah, it was quite a simple thing initially.
It helped you come to terms with it. Not in that setting, but it helped. Did you feel sort of like a weight being lifted? Did you feel relieved at all?
It was nice. It was challenging on leaving there.
What, embarrassment?
No, challenging because it brought stuff up, an emotional state that came up, and then the class finished and I walked out alone.
You're left, yeah.
So, and that I would find it challenging to a client if I was to bring stuff up and then say goodbye. You're on your own now.
And that can be a challenge if you're running to a time schedule and you're running late, or someone's coming. You've got another appointment, and there's someone who's had you can't just drop them. That's what.
That's why referral is important. Be with them as long as you could. If you're rushing to get somewhere, but at least give the referral that you can see someone that is an expert in this emotional stuff that you can try. You know, you can see, so you can explore more or heal further. I can help you from muscle, tendon, joint angle, and he or she can help you from the emotional mental side.
Are there practitioners that specialise in emotional? I don't know what you're getting for release, or I'm right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emotional release massage, Bryony Pinkelton. I've received a session from her. It was absolutely incredible experience.
Oh. All right, so I ask my client this: what clients want from us? And this particular client, he has challenging kids, 3 sons, all with disabilities. So he can open up to me, but his wife cannot. They deal with this matter differently. And we have to make that okay. You know, we can't force anyone to disclose anything, even though we're rather curious of the effect on them, but obviously we can't force them to share it if they don't want to share. So what clients want from us is an excellent massage, a safe space to either disclose or not to disclose their problems, and non-judgment. Non-judgment. They don't want to be judged. They want to be accepted for who they are. And they want to be understood. I mean, this is just like basic human psychology. Human beings need to be loved, accepted, understood, so they can exist. So they don't want their situation to be discounted. They don't want to be told you will be okay.
Why would you say that? Why is it not okay?
I don't know, in some counseling practice, this the last bit is not from that particular client that I asked this answer from, but from another person that studied counseling.
Isn't it reassuring to say everything's going to be okay? Like,
Because you
don't
don't
know
know.
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's implying that they're not okay at this moment.
No, they're not okay at the moment. But
Yeah, they're not okay at the moment, but we don't know if they are going to be okay, or if life situation going to be okay for them.
It's not being honest, because you don't know.
Yeah.
They might walk out and jump over the cliff.
Yeah. We can listen. We can listen, and we can try to understand them. Yeah. So, how do we clear ourselves from clients' emotional baggage? Be early or on time for your clients, because when we are late, what do? Flustered. You know, oh, sorry. And before you enter the door, sorry, I use this example because typically this massage clients are like in-house or in the hotel room clients, so we gotta enter someone's door, you know, ring the doorbell. You need to center yourself, set your intention, center yourself, for example, breathing. Set your intention that, okay, I'm here to heal my client, for example. Whatever your intention may be, you know, I'm here to provide a safe space for my client, for example. Whatever your intention be, but set it. It can be a 2-second thing. And smile. I've experienced massage therapists that never smile from A to Z. It's like, what? And then when you first encounter a client's negative energy, you need to ground yourself again, breathing, and respond instead of reacting like, oh shit, you know, what am I going to do? He suddenly cried. What am I going to do? Or, oh, she suddenly zoomed off because she's angry. What am I going to do? Sorry, can we go back, please? Yeah. So connect with your own empathy and compassion and respond accordingly. So you need to know what to say.
And always remind yourself it's not your fault.
Yes, it's not you, it's them. Yeah, just like when you want to plan a breakup. Oh, sorry, babe, it's not you, it's me.
But I think too sometimes if you not prepare yourself, because sometimes for coincidence, the connection attracting a person you have the some situation.
Yes.
If you don't treat yourself, prepare yourself, you straight away cannot feel properly it's to be yours or to be them. You stay confused about it. You know this. If you prepare yourself, even emotionally, to understand how what happened, things. You know what I mean. It's more easily. Oh, okay. It's not mine. It's not my fault. I'm here. And then also it's more easily you can also do a right direction to a referral, exactly the right person. Yeah, I think this is my experience.
Very good. So the next one is to refer clients to the other health professionals as you see fit. Yep. I don't do chiropractic, so when I feel that the client will benefit from the marriage between massage and chiro, then I refer them accordingly. If someone has schizophrenia, for example, that I don't deal with heavy-duty mental issues. I can deal with stress and depression, anxiety, but not the heavy-duty kind. Please go see a psychologist, things like that. Then I refer. Therapist to debrief, to counselor or coach to avoid vicarious trauma or compassion fatigue from time to time. So we need to debrief to either a very experienced fellow massage therapist that experience a lot of things about the emotional stuff from clients, or see a counselor or a coach. What is vicarious trauma? I can see some question marks in someone's face. Vicarious trauma is when we have trauma or stuff or baggage from our past that we haven't quite dealt with, and our clients present us with exactly the same thing or similar things that trigger your own stuff. If you can't handle that, that becomes a trauma called vicarious trauma. So, for example, policemen, nurses, ambos, in the end, some of them become a very cold-hearted person because they just can't deal with it. Every day they see people dying, shoot themselves, drug overdose, etc. Eventually, if they haven't dealt with that in the past, then it becomes traumatic for them.
I think empathy is a good word for it.
Yeah, empathy, yeah. Compassion fatigue. So typically nurses, ambos, policemen have a lot of compassion to begin with. And then because they don't debrief, they become fatigue, compassion fatigue. Yes. Next.
So you're saying like if you had a client that's emotional, so if they're crying, then after that that's what they've done, they've cried, and it's like in the session, for the therapist, you were saying the therapist then would need to go and debrief after that?
No, it's only if it affects you.
If it affects you.
If it affects you as a therapist.
Yes. Yes. Then it's okay, but maybe after doing so many with similar sort of reaction from the clients, then it starts to affect you, then you need to look after yourself. It's really important for us to look after ourselves because we look after thousands of others.
That was something I really wanted to say when you the situation. If someone's angry, first thing is, okay, don't take it on personally.
Yes.
And to ground myself and to not become a part of the problem because I'm trying to engage with it. And then I'm getting excited. I've got my own stories running and I need to fix the other person or save the other person. It's my personal responsibility to be just aware of myself, which I've seen someone I was dating doing home therapy. She's come out of the room, something's gone on in there, and she's gone straight from that situation into working on her housemate, massage and therapy. And I can see really clearly the agitated energy that's there, and that it's going everywhere, and that gets into other people and starts to create things, agitation in other people as well. So to be really mindful of the self, especially in this line of work.
Yes, that's right. We need to ground ourselves. That's why I said set your intention to begin with before everybody will be a great start. Now, let's close our eyes, shall we? Everyone, close your eyes. Let's take 3 deep breaths, slowly in and slowly out. Just focus on our breathing for a moment. Every time that we breathe in, just set our intention to be present. Forget about the past, don't worry about the future, just be here, right now. There is nowhere else you need to be right now. And there is nothing else you need to do right now. So be here and enjoy your breath. If your mind brings you somewhere else, just accept it, that your mind is distracted. It's okay. Accept and go back to your breath. Feel that every breath out, your muscles getting softer, your shoulders just drop, your arms flop to your side, your forehead is getting softer, your jawline is getting softer, and you feel more relaxed. If I may ask you to imagine or picture in your mind just one thing that you feel frustrated about, one thing that you may be angry about, or a person. Just to picture that person or that thing for this moment, just for a moment. And if you can bring in that sense of acceptance that we learned from the 7 stages of grief, that situation is something that we can't control. That if we resist this thing or this person, our suffering is going to be bigger, greater, feel heavier than what it needs to be. So right now, I invite you to simply accept what is. And now go back to your breath. Breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly. Feel your fingers, feel your toes. And when you're ready, gently you can open your eyes. How do you guys feel? So that is very, very quick, very quick. Simple meditation about acceptance. Just the one thing. Remember the one thing rule? Just one thing. Yeah, you can practice that yourself in, certain circumstances that make you uncomfortable. Or you can suggest to your client, this is my suggestion, if you happen to come across this one, maybe try this. So gentle suggestion. Next. So that meditation is about surrendering. So surrender is a journey from the outer turmoil to the inner peace. Yeah. So yeah, that's just a quick way to get there. Yeah. And I will finish this meetup with this. I am going to shamelessly plug myself. All right. So I have an upcoming event on Saturday the 8th of June called Relax, Dream, Create. We will create a vision board. It's a 3-hour workshop dedicated for stressed people. I mean, who's not stressed in this life? Some people have some stress, one thing or another. Also great for momcation, dadcation, because parents typically are quite stressed and exhausted. So there will be chair massage performed, guided meditation, we can talk about relationship, and you will be allowed to be yourself. You will be allowed to dream what is the life that you want, and you can create it. Cut. There is a board that you can put your pictures or words that resonate with you from this bunch of magazines that I will provide you. I'll provide all the tools. You just bring one magazine just in case, that magazine has some pictures or words that really resonate with you. So bring that along. It's in Russell Lee, which is next to Five Dog. So it's in Inner West, this part of the world. And yeah, I would love to invite you or your stressed clients to come along. And I will give you my coaching service menu as well, just in case just pass it along. Your clients need one, then you can refer to me, especially if they're stressed, brokenhearted, and if they want to strengthen their relationship as a couple. So that's me. Thank you so much, guys, for tonight. Thank you. Kayangan means heaven. It's the mystical realm where the spirits reside. That's the full meaning. Yeah, but I just shortened it. It means heaven.